There we go. Good evening, everyone. How you doing? Yeah.
Remind me to never go back.
Well, we are waiting for Mr. Brandon to enter. Am I on the correct? I think I am. I have two profiles. I always get both of them. Well, hello. Hey. How's everyone doing today, this evening? I'll give it a few more minutes and let everybody tap in. Hello. I'm going to slide myself right on over here so I can be closer. And I think I'm going to use this to hold it up. All right now. There we go. Hey, everyone. Oh, thank you. I'm happy to see you, too. I'm excited about tonight's conversation, that's for sure, because I'm sure we have a lot to talk about. As soon as Brandon is ready, he may send in the request so we can get started. So, bro, whenever you send your request. Hey, Jess. Hey, Deja. How y'all doing? Oh, man. So, Brandon, whenever you're ready, you can send the request. Hey. Or I'll request you. Let me see. Oh, here it is. Perfect. Let's get started. All right, come on, phone.
It is working?
Yes, it is. You're on. Hi, Brandon.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Hello.
Dope, dope,
Good
dope.
evening.
Hey, good evening. How you?
How was your day? How was your week?
It's been a loaded week. I think that's the easiest way to put it. It's definitely been a loaded week, but today was a good day. Definitely had a better day today, so that's all that really matters.
Okay. That's really good. That's wonderful. Well,
Yeah.
hello to everyone who's in our comments that is joining us tonight. We will be
What's going
having
on, Jelly?
yep, shout out to the gang. We will be having a conversation regarding our mental health. Brandon here is a multimedia specialist and a journalist. He also will be working a part of DestsainoShine. And for those who are on here who don't know who I am, my name is Brittney Destsaino. I am the CEO of DestsainoShine. It services youth to bridge the gap between education and the arts while supporting women with breast cancer. So, Brandon, if you may, please tell them a little about yourself, where you're from, and everything so we can get this
Mhm.
thing started.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Brandon Bally. I'm from Pittsburgh, PA. I graduated from Penn State with a degree in communications and journalism. Now working as a multimedia professional. And we're here to talk about just ways that I've been able to effectively cope with mental health, and I think that that would be beneficial for everybody to hear. So,
Absolutely. And then definitely with the climate that we're in right now, mental health is like a big topic. And not only that, with me teaching with students currently, they
Right.
have days where they're coming in and they're okay. Then the next moment
Right.
they're ready to leave. Like they're ready to I don't want to do any
No.
work today. So
Yeah.
we have to literally, and then I'm taking on my own challenges, but I find it more important to make sure that I am pouring into them so they can be able to get the experience of having an internship for the first time out of high school and different things like that, and make sure we're implementing that safe space for them. Whereas though it's I'm not just coming on, oh, get the work. It's okay, miss, I'm really having a bad day. Like my child getting on my
Right.
nerves. Like, you know what I mean? Like anything could be
Right.
going on in their lives. So I try to be very, very transparent and have them have that open space to be able to express themselves if they're feeling it or not feeling it. Because I think that's very important.
So can I ask you a question based off of what you just said?
Okay.
Now, with that being said, because, as a young adult, as a young professional, you also have your own challenges to deal with. And, these kids, because of quarantine, because of, whatever home situations they might have going on, how do you basically find the balance between maintaining your own mental health and then also maintaining it to the point where, you're good for yourself, but you're also good to be a leader for people who need you as well. These kids, actually, these students, your students.
Yes, absolutely. So I found, actually, I had to create a routine. I'm a routine person. So if there's no order, I feel kind of crazy. So what I've been doing, honestly, for the last 3, probably longer, I wake up, I know it sounds crazy. I wake up every morning at 6 a.m. From 6 a.m. to 6:30, I pray and read my Bible. Then I go shower, do all the jazz, all those self-care things. And then I'll be like, okay, let me check Instagram or my emails and different things like that. So that alone time before my son wake up, that alone time just to have with God and myself is okay, I'm cool now. Now I can deal with people. You ever hear the phrase when someone be like, okay, I'm done peopling for today? Yeah. That morning from 6 a.m. to about 7:30, 8 o'clock, I don't want to be bothered. I don't want to be bothered. I don't want to be bothered. So I think it's important that I stay in my word and stay encouraging myself. So therefore, I will be able to give them any part of myself for them to be able to benefit from me. Because if I don't take care of myself, how are we going to implement the correct lesson for our applicants? How am I going to be able to tell them, oh, well, you should behave this way as a professional, but then I'm on my phone or not paying attention or not, or lazy or sleep or eating or, just doing different things that I should not be doing. You know what I mean? So I think if you create a basic routine for yourself, make sure you take those outlets of reading, dancing, I don't care what it is, and then be able to pour into others. So I think that's really, really important. That if you have to definitely create that balance. So go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I definitely think that I actually commend you on doing that. A lot of successful people I've read, like Robert Kiyosaki, for example. He's a perfect example. I love him. He always talks about just like a mindset. Basically, success is a mindset more than anything else. And unless you come from a wealthy family, most people don't start out with wealth, and so you have to create it. But it starts with your mindset, and a lot of people have kind of gradually discovered that. And so they say that the most successful people do wake up at 6 a.m. You know what I mean? Because now if you're waking up at 6 a.m., now I have time. I'm utilizing all the hours that I have in the day to be successful. If I wake up, which I used to wake up super late whenever I was in a mentally bad, when I was younger, I don't think necessarily I was in a bad state of mind mentally. I was just younger and I didn't understand the importance of waking up early. I used to wake up at 11, 12, crazy times. And I didn't really hit home how strange that was until my sister and my brother-in-law, they pulled me to the side and they were like, yo, you realize you wake up at 11, 12 every day, right? I used to be up until 3, 4, whatever ridiculous times at night. And then I would get up at around 11 or 12 during the day, during the week. And they used to be like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? How are you getting anything done? And then I realized waking up early, I had more time to do the things that I wanted in addition to the things that I needed to do. You know what I mean? And so it's definitely essential to wake up early if you can, so that you have an hour to kind of just, de-stress, relax, do a hobby. If you like to work out, you have an extra, you can kind of schedule an hour or maybe an hour and a half, whatever time that you have available in order to you know, basically indulge in the things that, you know, make you feel comfortable, make you feel happy. You see what I'm saying? So that's dope.
Yeah,
That's really dope.
absolutely. So, we were talking about this topic for, wait, come on, lighting. We were talking about this topic for a while now. So what are some things that we wanted to pull out that maybe you've experienced personally where you have had to manage that strength to balance your own mental health?
The first example, I have 100 examples. The first example that came to my mind though, was definitely the police situation. So for anybody who's on the live and they don't know, this was like in November of last year. Me and my girlfriend, we got stopped by like 9 police officers at gunpoint for no reason. They thought that we was like on some Bonnie and Clyde type, you know what I'm saying, crazy. They pulled us over at a stoplight, and how they did it was super wild. Basically, one cop in the squad car had followed me for about a block. We were driving past the police station that was already on that block. We were driving past the police station. There was a squad car outside of the police station. They had like a searchlight, like a fog light, and it shined it through my driver's side as I'm driving past. And I knew it was something strange because the initial police officer that started following us, he was driving in the opposite direction. And he busted a U-turn and he started following us. And I'm like, I remember I looked over at Blair like, yeah, you know, he's about to do something shiesty. I didn't know it was going to be to this extent, but I just knew that there was something off. Because I'm like, you did a U-turn for what? You know what I mean? Like, and also too, if I'm being honest, my card, you know, wasn't up to date. I had to get insurance. I didn't have insurance at the time. So I'm like, kind of like on edge anyway. I'm always checking my mirrors, just always prepared for anything that could potentially happen. Mm-hmm. So we're driving past the police station. The squad car is parked outside, shines his light. And then like 10 seconds later, before we can even pass through this intersection, a squad car sped in the middle of the intersection with his lights on and then boxed us out. And the video is on my page for anybody. I'll even update it again. You know what I'm saying? So boxes us in. Like 5 seconds after that, I have officers with their guns out knocking on my window like, yeah, put your hands on the steering wheel. Get out of the vehicle. Like, I'm like, I didn't even know what to say. I was kind of like, well, can I take my seatbelt off? You know what I mean? Is that cool? Can I take my seatbelt off? And the officer was by my window, was like, yeah, take your seatbelt off. And I took my seatbelt off. I unlocked the door. They opened up the door. They pulled, like, yoked me out. Yoked me out the whip. As I'm getting pulled out the whip, they cuffed me immediately. And then I look back and I'm like, so what are they about to do with Blair? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And there's 3 officers on her side of the vehicle. One is opening up the door. Like 2 other ones are like basically waiting for her to step out the car and they have their guns drawn. So I'm like, hey, bro, can you put your gun down? You know what I'm saying? Like we're not on no hot, you know what I'm saying? We don't have anything in the car. Like, can you just put your gun down? He was like, shut up. It was like, shut up. And I'm like, but you have your gun drawn, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? She's a woman. She doesn't have anything on her. You know what I'm saying? What are you doing? And he was like, so what? So what if she's a woman? Basically, like, what is you going to do about it? Right. You know what I mean? So basically, like, they cuff me. They cuff her. They separate us. They flip my, and the footage is all on my IG. They flip my ride. This is before they even tell me why they had stopped us. We didn't even know why they stopped us for like 20 minutes after we had already been pulled out of the ride at gunpoint and handcuffed. You know what I'm saying? The craziest thing about all this, I had to go to work the next day to bring it all full circle. And I think that as Black people in America, we constantly have to deal with these traumatic situations and then just function like it's okay. You know what I mean? And then it was crazy to me because I'm at work the next day. It didn't even really hit. Like, we were just on our way to the gym. We were just on our way to, this was the first day we were actually trying to get ourselves together. This was the first day we was going to the gym, like, and that happened, like, and it was crazy because, like I said, it was just what typically would have been a normal night, and it was just taken completely, like, out of context, to a whole nother level. Exactly. A whole nother, and I'm not even on that type time. That's what I was trying to explain to them the whole time. I just graduated from college. I have a degree, not that that means anything, but at the same time, I'm not moving around on that type time. And it was just like, it was wild to me that I gave a speech. I have a speech at the Pennsylvania, the state capitol building for Pennsylvania last year. You know what I'm saying? Like for Penn State Capitol Day. You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, I'm doing everything that I can possibly do to be legit, and this is still the type of treatment that I get regardless, solely because of my complexion. And not even just me, my girlfriend at the same time, you know what I'm saying? Just because she was with me. And managing my mental health, to answer your question, managing my mental health after that was something serious. Anytime I hopped in my ride, so I mean, even before that, I've been getting harassed by police since I was a teenager. You know what I'm saying? But that was the first time it was ever to that extent, where they actually pulled their guns out on me. So it was tough, but I had to realize, as crazy as it might sound, I think that that's just how powerful we are as a people. You know what I mean? And I think some people might not want to hear that, but like, if you have to stop me and my girlfriend 9 officers deep at gunpoint before you even have any inkling as to what we may or may not have on us. I didn't take it as, a part of me took it as like a racial thing, but then a part of it was like, I guess we're just that powerful. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all really had to take that level of precaution. This is 2 of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is 2 of us. And then also, too, we didn't die. That was the craziest thing about it to me. We didn't get killed. We didn't get beat up. We didn't get killed. And Pittsburgh is wild. So being from Pittsburgh, you know, I'll put anybody who's not from the Burgh deep. Pittsburgh is predominantly white, number one. It's very racist. It's openly racist. You can be downtown and people will be looking at you like, what are you doing here, black man? Black woman? What are you doing here? That's just how Pittsburgh is. And so, you know, with Leon Ford, I don't know if you've ever heard of Leon Ford before. Leon Ford was a young black man who was paralyzed by Pittsburgh police. Antoine Rose was 17 years old, got shot and killed by police. And so basically my mental health afterwards, I had crazy anxiety. It was really difficult for me to sleep. Not that it wasn't difficult for me to sleep before, but that just made it even more difficult. You know what I'm saying? Like, going out in public was like, you know, I'm really on my P's and Q's. You know what I mean? Like, whoa, you know what I mean? Just because anything, I don't even have to necessarily be doing anything, and there's a potential that me and my girlfriend could lose our lives. You know what I'm saying? And we work every day. My girl was a teacher. That was the thing that was stressing me the most. They pulled guns out on like we were like felons. You know what I mean? And so it just was the trauma that I had to essentially get over. You know what I mean?
So what?
And I think, yes.
Okay, so you're saying like you had to get over the trauma. So like, what were some practices that you actually did to do so?
Talking about it.
So did you go to therapy, or did you just talk it out?
I definitely did get a therapist for a little bit. The first thing I did was, and I think we all have an issue of holding things in. The first thing I did, the morning after the situation happened, and I had gone into work. I was working in the call center at the time. I told my supervisor. I let my supervisor know, like, I can't do this today. You know what I mean? And I'm about to explain to you why I can't do this today. And I was surprised by how she responded. You know, she responded kind of like, whoa, like, you know, I'm sorry that happened to you. You know, and I understand that, you know, you just need some time. You know what I mean? So, you know, go home for the day. Call me tomorrow morning. If you're not ready to come back in tomorrow morning, call me tomorrow morning. You know, we'll work our way through it. But just talking to people, you know, basically spending time with my family, my friends, you know, that definitely eased a lot of some of the anxiety that I was experiencing. And writing. Yeah, writing. Definitely, I wrote a lot. Not that I wasn't writing a lot before, but just making sure to get the thoughts and the feelings outside of my head, you know, and putting them on a paper. I have a notepad on my phone, but just writing them down. That was very therapeutic for me. Definitely therapeutic. And then also too, pursuing counseling. You know, my job luckily had benefits, so you know, I had access to a therapist, and you know, I would just do like a little Google Duo meetings with my therapist.
Find the one that best suits you.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that's good, for sure. So, is there anything else that you would like to tell us as well? I'm sorry, the lighting is like trash.
Oh, you're good. Definitely, I think that the number one thing that I can say, and this is, everybody's perspective is different, everybody's life is different. No matter what you're going through, there is somebody out there that is willing to help you. You know what I mean? You might have to sort through some individuals, and that's not necessarily difficult because the people that really and truly are meant to be in your corner, they really and truly do care about you.
Right.
They'll extend the olive branch. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? You won't have to really go too far. You'll know it. They'll be there in your corner for you. So don't be afraid to open up. I think that that's one of the biggest points that I can make because if you don't say what it is that you're going through, nobody will know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You'll be going through all types of stuff and nobody will know. So the first part is to speak up. You know
Right.
what I mean? Don't be afraid to say there's something traumatic that has happened to me or there's something traumatic that I'm experiencing on a daily basis. So definitely being able to speak up, knowing that whatever it is you're going through, because I've been through, I feel like everything you could possibly go through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So know that regardless of what you're going through, there is still like light at the end of the tunnel. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? There's always something on the other side. You can be going through, I've had crazy days where I'm like, yo, like God, where are you at?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like for
Like,
real.
yo,
Like I'm
bro,
going,
I know you see this. Hey, I know you see this too.
yeah,
Like, so what's happening?
right. Like,
Yeah.
yo,
No,
I'm
we've all been
really,
there.
yeah, like I'm really going through it. Where are you at? I
Yeah.
prayed last night, you know what I mean? I gave the dude who asked me for $5. Like, what's going on? Like, I'm
Right.
really going through it. But I think that trials and tribulations, they all happen for a reason. You know what I mean? And trials and tribulations, you have to learn from anything that you go through that is negative, anything that you go through that at one point felt like it was hindering you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget about it. Be able to forgive or move past, but be able to reflect upon it and realize that it's just a lesson. You know
Right.
what I mean? It's all lessons. Everything that we go through, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. And I know that that's not what a lot of people want to hear, but to me, in my opinion, my perspective, that has been the reality of a lot of my situations, you know.
Right.
So,
No, I
yeah.
definitely agree with that. And I will also say that
Mm,
when we are facing different trials and tribulations and
mm,
different traumas, you already know I'm very, very open with my story. So it's
mm.
like if you don't take care of you, you can't take
Yeah,
care of anyone else. And that is
right.
the biggest form of self care, a part
Yep,
of managing your mental stability is making sure that
right.
you are feeding yourself. Because if you
Correct.
don't feed yourself, you're not going to be able to be any good to anyone else. So,
Right.
you're absolutely right. Like you hit everything right on the nail, and we appreciate you for it. Because I think
Yeah,
that some people, as you said, we hold a lot of things in, and
yeah.
doing so, when you're holding it in, then it bottles up, and then you may explode on the wrong person. And it can be
Yep.
something of a small disagreement that you had with them, but the
Hmm.
things that is built up inside of you and the anger and the hurt of everything that you're carrying will pour out
Hmm.
on that person unintentionally. And then when
Correct.
you do that, it's like they're like, whoa, like, bro, sis,
Right.
or
Right.
boyfriend,
What
girlfriend,
I do.
mom, dad, whoever, like, what? I didn't deserve all that. And then they looking
Yeah.
at you like, did I really deserve all this? And another thing I
Mm,
think people also need to understand is that a lot of times when we also going through other issues, it's sometimes
mm.
not even the other person. It's not you,
Yeah.
it's them. Sometimes people
Right.
don't check themselves. So a part of
Right.
also managing your mental health is also taking accountability.
Correct.
You have to be accountable. You have to
Right.
know that, okay, if I just
Yeah.
resonate to relationships because that's just I've had some bad ones. So if you have a
Yeah.
bad relationship and you know that it's toxic,
Mm,
you continuously putting yourself back in that position to be hurt or
mm,
to be um disappointed or to be let down or anything, even as far as family relationships and different things like that, you may
mm,
not receive that support or that backbone as much as you wanted. You know, you may want that love and different things to come from people, but you have to also understand that maybe they might not even be able to give it to you.
facts.
But you got to know that within your heart that, okay, to manage my mental health inside of this
Mm,
household or in this relationship, if you stay, that
mm.
you have to figure out how to navigate around that.
That's correct.
But then that also becomes healthy or unhealthy for you.
Mm, mm,
Because, like,
mm,
after that, then what else do you have left? Like, I'll share with y'all.
mm,
I always wanted like a really, really close relationship with one of my grandmoms. And
Yeah.
it was just, it just still doesn't work. Like, I love her, but it
Right.
just don't work. Like, it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter. It's just because she felt to me, oh, well, I don't know how, I never received love like that, so I don't know how to give it. So it'll be times where it's just like, wow, you know, she loves my son, but I'm just like, wow, like, why you never wanted me to come lay with you in the bed, or, you know, different things like that. So, like, sometimes we yearn for that, but you got to understand and keep that balance within yourself to be able to accept it and keep it pushing. Like, not in a bad way, like, oh, I'm not going to care, but for your own sanity, you have to be able to navigate and understand that this is where I am, this is this relationship, it is what it is, and then keep going.
Yeah. Everybody's frequency is different. And I
Everybody
had to learn that.
everybody operates at different frequencies, and you cannot be around people who are navigating at lower frequencies than you, because then that brings you down to their level. I always like to say I love to be the least smartest person in the world, in the room, because if I'm the least smartest person in the room, I have so much more to learn. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Like, you can gain knowledge from everybody else, but if I'm the smartest one in the room, I'm not be able to excel to that next level, because I'm pouring into everyone that's around me instead of someone being able to pour into me.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy we're even having this conversation. These are all things that my mom Dukes, you know, I grew up in a single parent household. And it's crazy. I saw a meme earlier today where it was like, you know, somebody said that when you grow older, you realize that a lot of people in your family have mental health issues that are just undiscussed, or, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, definitely. I felt that to the fullest. But, you know, despite my mom was college educated too, but she struggled with a lot of things too. And it led to a lot of destructive behaviors, you know what I mean? But whenever she was, you know, stable, whenever she was cool, she dropped gems. She used to drop gems. And she used to say to me all the time, this is one of her favorite sayings. She was like, if you're the smartest person in your group, then you lead in the group. You know what I mean? Like, and it took me some time to really grasp that. And I think because a part of it is growing up in a single parent house. I've always been introverted. When I was a little kid, you know, not everybody was clinging to me. I used to get into fights all the time because people used to be like, he's smart, he wears glasses, he talks proper. Because in my crib, I was just blind, so I had to wear glasses. And I had to talk proper because that's just how my mom Dukes was. I couldn't walk into my crib talking crazy. My mom Dukes would have popped me in my mouth. Like, why are you talking like that? You know what I'm saying? And that's just who she was. But she gave me a certain level of stability. And, you know, like I said, growing up. So part of my childhood, I was just a loner anyway. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, as I got older, I gradually got friends. But like I said, one of the things my mom used to always tell me is if you're the smartest person in your group, then you need to adjust your circle. And sometimes hanging with the wrong people. And then also, too, another thing that I realized, I'm gonna connect both. When you up yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually, the people around you start to once again match your frequency. Because I wasn't always at the level that I'm at right now. You know what I'm saying? I used to be on an entirely different wavelength.
Right.
And then whenever I started to manage my mental health a lot better, how do you deal with your mental health when it comes to trauma? Hey, Jazz, I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that next.
We're gonna get to that. Y'all can start dropping questions in the question box, so we can bring those questions out.
Right. So to wrap this one up quickly, you know, whenever you start to manage your mental health, when you start to pay attention to the fact that, like, yo, I can't get out of bed today. And that's another, I had to get to that point too, is like, yo, I feel sluggish. I feel a little drained. Or I would notice being around these types of people is doing something to me mentally. I need to gravitate a little bit to another circle, or I need to just be to myself. Maybe I just need to fly by my lonely for a little bit. And eventually, and typically I usually did, I would start finding people who are a lot more like-minded. So to hop on Jez's question, she said, how do you deal with your mental when it comes to trauma? Accept it. And it's hard. I've been up until 3.
In the question box so I can put them on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, you know, dealing with the trauma is rough. You have to first acknowledge, like you said earlier, acknowledgement is like the first step to changing anything. You can't change anything until you've acknowledged that there's a problem. And so as I got older, it wasn't, and I felt like trauma didn't really, any other traumatic stuff that happened to me as a kid, it didn't really hit me until I turned like 21. And I'm in college, And I remember my anxiety was through the roof. I'm at Penn State. I was at a branch campus. I was at Penn State, New Kensington. It was in the middle of nowhere. It was quiet, you know what I mean? My freshman year, I was at Morehouse, so I was like partying every weekend. I never studied. I was always moving. You know, I was a very social person my freshman year. My sophomore and junior year, God was like, yo, you got to sit down for a minute. As a matter of fact, I'm going to sit you down for like 3 years so you can really dig deep into your mental and let's see what you're really about. And I'm in this cabin in the woods. It's like 30, 45 minutes outside of Pittsburgh trying to get my degree. And I started thinking about like everything that had happened to me. And I was like, yo, I've really seen some wild stuff. I'm in class. It really started to hit home. I'm in class and my classmates are like, yeah, my dad didn't give me $25 for gas money today. I was like, at the point in time, I'm like starving. Because me and my mom was beefing. I wasn't living at the crib. I was moving from place to place. I'm like, I'm trying to figure out how to eat today. You're talking about your parents didn't give you gas money? I'm in class starving. Like, no cap. Like, yo, and I play basketball too. We don't got a meal plan up there. I'm like stressing. But all of these things forced me to think. And then when I started to think, I started to acknowledge a lot of things. I started to acknowledge my coping mechanisms.
Your triggers.
My triggers. I started to acknowledge everything. And so to answer Jess's question, acknowledgement. And then whenever I acknowledged, the hardest part after acknowledging these things, acknowledging my trauma, was learning to let it go. And that was like the most brutal part. I'm saying I'm up until 3, 4 o'clock, 5, staring at the walls like, yo, like tripping, like, yo, how do I let this go? Or how do I forgive? I had to forgive a lot of people. I had to forgive a lot of people without even having conversations with them about the stuff that they did to traumatize me. That was hard. That was harsh. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, anything that pained me or caused me frustration, I had to realize that it was my responsibility to let it go. Nobody was going to walk up to me and be like, hey, I'm sorry I hurt you. Mm-hmm. Or, you know, that's just not realistic. I mean, and a part of it, if you communicate to people, like, hey, what you did really did me dirty. You know what I'm saying? You really did me dirty. That really affected me. A part of it was communication. So there were times where I would reach out to people and I'd be like, hey, what you said or what you did, I didn't appreciate that. You know what I mean? And we might have had a communication about it. We might have had a conversation about it. And, you know, in that process of communicating, I was able to get over it. But there were a lot of times where I just had to thug it out and just be like, hey, it's in the past. You know what I mean? Not only is it in the past, it made me a better person. It didn't kill me. And I'm looking forward. Do you know what I mean? I got goals. I have things that I'm trying to strive for. And those, the acknowledgement, the forgiveness, and then just the overall, the will to like really get over, you know what I mean? And continue to push ahead. To answer Jess's question again, that's how I was really able to get over a lot of the trauma. I just had to forgive. I had to forgive myself for a lot of stuff, you know what I mean? And then I just had to change a lot of my behaviors. I had to change a lot of my behaviors, you know what I mean?
That accountability kicked in.
Yeah, it's real. It's real. You know.
Go ahead. So we have another question from Blair. She says, why do you think the Black community has a hard time accepting mental health illness or taking care of themselves? It's cut off, but I know what it says.
You want me to do this one? Or you got it?
You can start it.
I'll start it. Lack of resources. Hey, if you have benefits, not even to two things, lack of resources and then also to a lack of knowledge. The things that we go through, a lot of people until like 5, 10 years ago, maybe 15, nobody knew that it was traumatic. We thought that was just regular. The stuff that I was going through as a kid, I thought it was regular to like come in the crib and see my mom high. I thought that was regular. I thought everybody's mom was getting tore up. You know what I'm saying? It took me a long time to realize, whoa, that's not regular. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so we're so used to these unlivable conditions. We go into survival mode. We're so stuck in survival mode. We don't even know that we need therapy. We don't even know that we need to unlearn a lot of these conditions that we've been forced to take on in order to survive in society. You know what I mean? And so it's not even so much that we accept mental illness. a lot of us don't even know that we have mental illnesses. You know what I'm saying? If you're not getting diagnosed by a doctor that you have anxiety, what are the chances that you actually know that you have anxiety? What are the chances that you actually know that you have OCD, or that you have depression, or that you have any of these like common mental illnesses, if nobody's actually, a professional's not pulling you to the side and telling you that? But once again, if you're not going to the doctor, if nobody's telling you to go to the doctor, then a lot of this knowledge is going to be lost on you. You know what I'm saying? Especially because everybody else around you is going through it. You know what I'm saying? It's not like your household the only one that's being affected by these things. Every household in your block might be affected by these things. And so none of us even, yeah.
Yeah, so like, you ever hear the saying that they used to say, your parent, I don't know if she's ever said this to you, but like, whatever happens in this house stays in this house?
Yeah.
So that statement alone is like, what happens in this house stays in this house. What happens when the little boy is getting beat up for no reason? What happens when the little girl, you know, things like that? What happens when mommy and daddy are like, daddy's beating on mommy, but you're not allowed to say anything? What happens when we're seeing all these different things, but like we said, what happens in this house stays in this house, and you walk out this room, you walk out this door, and what happens in my house, don't tell nobody, don't tell your friends, it's nobody's business.
Right.
So with that, you learn to carry all of those things at such a very young age. So when you get older and you actually start to experience it, and you're like, wait, I really don't like the way this makes me feel, but it either you act out on it in an aggressive way, you either become very, very submissive and passive aggressive. You can either become isolate, like you said, you were an introvert, and different things like that, or suicidal, or like, you know, it's so many different ways that it can swing, because you're seeing the things that happen in your household now in your adult life, and there are triggers for you, and you don't know how to deal with them because you never handled them back then. They never were solidified back then. Your parents just said, oh, you be all right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Kept it pushing, which means, how does that work for you? How would that be able to help you become a healthy individual and operate in society healthy on all levels, in your job, in your relationship, in your future, with your future children, anything?
Yeah, it's deep. And I think it's just generational. A lot of it is generational.
Next question.
Why is it changing for a man, especially a black man, to seek help? Oh, why is it? Jess, what'd you say, Jess?
She said, why is it changing for a man, especially a black man, to seek help from a therapist?
Why is it challenging?
Okay, so why is it challenging for a black man to seek therapy? There we go.
Because you have to be honest about, first, so for us, for black men, for young black men, challenging. All right, I got you, Jess. That was a great question, too. A lot of us are told as young black men, you can't be soft. You know what I mean? You can't be weak. And that's just, they appreciate you, Eli. That's just real. Like, a lot of us are told that we just have to thug through anything and everything that we're going through. And so you basically build up this mentality that's like, nobody's going to care about what I have to say, or I'm going to say how I feel and people are going to clown me for it. You have to build like a suit of armor. And it's just like, nationally, that's just how it is for black men in America. You know what I'm saying? I think probably across the whole world. Like, you just have to be hard. And it's like hyper masculinity. That's the terminology that they use. You have to be hard body. You know what I mean? You get shot, you got to walk out the hospital like it don't hurt. You know what I mean? Like, that's the type of mentality that is beat into us at a young age. And so it's challenging for us to go and seek therapy, because for so long we're told that we have to be strong, that, you know, we can't speak about what we're going through, or it's going to look soft, or bro, he's being emotional. He's being a crybaby. You know what I mean? These are the types of things that we're told whenever we do speak up. And then also, too, going back to what I was saying before, Jess, the lack of resources. I didn't have my father was never around. I met my father one time when I was 7, and he said that I was disrespectful for asking. I was 9. I lied. I was 9. He said I was disrespectful for asking him where he had been at for 9 years. And I never saw him again. Like, he was like, yeah, you're a disrespect. He looked at my mom and was like, you sure this is my son? Me and this nigga look, excuse my language, we look smack alike. The first time I saw him, I was like, yo, you look just like me. Where have you been at?
You're like, yo, bro,
And
I
he
love
was,
you. Like, I kind of love you. Like, we cannot be
yeah,
the same person here.
yeah. Like, bro, I've been looking for you for 9 years. Where have you been at? And he was like, how do you have the audacity to ask me where I've been at?
And I also think,
Yeah,
I seen that Bree said pride in the comments.
facts,
As far
pride,
as having
yeah,
that pride as a black man that you're supposed to be the breadwinner, the strong, this, that, and they put
yeah, yeah.
all of these
Mm,
stereotypes and stigmas against your name and as against who you are. It's like
right.
you don't have any room for mess ups. You don't have any room to be
No
human.
room.
You're like literally they
Yep.
think you're a robot. Like you got to operate in this space that's pretty much really unrealistic. When
Facts.
when you learn and whatever people's faiths are, but when you become a man of God, a woman of God, whatever, you
Right.
understand that vulnerability is your strength.
Facts. Yep.
I need some water. But you really understand, you learn that vulnerability is like really like a strength rather than a
Yeah,
weakness.
because when you're vulnerable, true strength is being vulnerable. If I walk around with my guard up, not so much that I don't do my P's and Q's too, but if I walk around with my guard up 24/7, when am I ever allowing somebody to show me that it's okay for me to be comfortable, relaxed? I'm always on my P's and Q's. I've never even given anybody else the opportunity to allow me to relax because I'm always looking at them sideways. You can't
Right.
live life like that. You know what I mean? At some point, you do have to be. Now, don't be, just free and open with everybody. Nah, that's not how life works. You do have to have discernment. You do know how, who you have to choose, pick and choose who you open up to. Um, but it is okay to open up. You know what I mean? Just make sure you open up to the right people. And it's just that simple. So do you think the Black Panther Party 10 plan would have benefited the black community today? Absolutely, man. I don't know who asked that question.
His name is
Yo,
Kyrie. I'm
yo,
actually
that's a
trying to get
fire
him
question.
on here, but we gotta work our schedules out. But
Yeah,
Kyrie,
that's
we
a
gonna
dope
figure it out.
question. So, so let me
Exactly.
ask you, hey, Kyrie, let me ask you another question. So you said the 10 plan, the 10 plan, the Black Party 10 plan would benefit the black community today. I mean, ultimately, let's just talk about that. So, or if you can type in the comment section, like, like at what point in time, um, they were attempting to implement that 10 plan. For me, what I know about the Black Panther Party, they were unified. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I love Huey, Bobby Seale, everything. They did their thing because they set up to this day, people don't even know the free meal plan in schools, in public schools. They set that up. It was the Black Panther Party. The Black Panther Party implemented the free meal plan in public schools. Nobody was doing that before the Black Panther Party. And so the fact that they had a community mindset, you know what I mean? And I think that is what I dug about the Black Panther Party. They had a community mindset. They were like, yo, we'll take care of our community, not just mentally, physically, and spiritually, but also financially. Let's make sure everybody eats. You know what I mean? Let's make sure everybody is cool. Let's make sure everything is gravy. Um, so I do think that their plan would have worked. Now, we all know, if you don't know, are looking at J. Edgar Hoover, look into what J. Edgar Hoover did in order to get rid of the Panther Party. You know what I'm saying? That alone speaks volumes. I think so to answer his question, yes. As a matter of fact, I know it would have worked. The reason why I know it would have worked is because if it wasn't going to be successful, there wouldn't have been so much federal and government funded resistance to get rid of it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I know for a fact it was gonna work. So yeah, bro, the 10 year, that 10 the unity, the self love that they preached. You know what I'm saying? Fred Hampton. You know what I'm saying? Everybody like, yo, the Panthers were, yeah, they were dope, man. Point blank period. They were dope. Um, man, that was a great question. Yeah, that was just a great question, man. Who else got any questions? Any more questions? What time? I got my watch on. Hey, Britt, you still there? Oh, shit. Hey, Britt.
Get rid of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on with that Wi-Fi, man. That's your Wi-Fi too. It's not my Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi's solid right now.
All right.
Uh, uh, hold up.
I'm here. I'm here. I see you
Yeah, I hear you
perfectly
now.
fine. All right. So I'm sorry, y'all. We got like 10 minutes. We're gonna try to get through
That's
this.
funny.
But Wi-Fi, I don't know why Wi-Fi started hating on us as soon as the conversations got even good. It says Tyree.
You said in recognizing
It's in the comments.
self-love, you are subscribing to the teachings of people like Malcolm X. Do you think people are ready to truly do that? Can you hear me? You can hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, my fault. I just wanted to make sure. Another great question, bro. So I'm gonna bang that one out real quick so I can get the judge's question. No, I don't think people are really ready to do that. Unfortunately, the reason why I say that we're not really and truly ready to do that is because we have so much opposition. Like, I'm not gonna say I'm a conspiracy theorist, but like, I think that like our society, I feel like capitalism profits off of like self-hate to an extent. You know what I'm saying? Because consumerism, there's so many things that just go into that. And then also too, culturally, there are so many things that go into that too. I would love for us to be like, yo, I love you, you love me. Let's get together. Let's get our 40 acres and a mule and let's really make it happen. I would want us to all be unified on that, mindset, and be in that state of mind. But I just don't think that we're there yet because we still have so much like generational trauma that we have to overcome. Um, we still have so much knowledge that we still need to learn. You know what I'm saying? We still have to get our communities right. You know what I mean? Like you were saying earlier today, you can't help anybody else until your house is straight. You know what I mean? If my house is on fire, it's gonna be hard for me to grab a bucket of water, put my house out, and then also if your house is on fire, put your house out too. It's just difficult. And
Right.
so I think as individuals, just collectively, I think collectively we still have, I don't know, man. I feel like we still have a long way to go before we can really be on some like we all love it. And then also too, and the last thing I'm gonna say on that before I ask Jess's question, there has to be hate in order for there to be love. You see what I'm saying? Like love wouldn't exist if it wasn't for hate. Like happiness wouldn't exist if it wasn't for sadness. Like to an extent, it's like it's about balance. I'm a firm believer in balance, and I know that probably sounds crazy to some people, but like somebody has to doubt you in order for you to feel confident. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. It's just you said no, man. You all right? This is a conversation for. Bro, follow me. We gonna have to have this conversation, man. We gonna have to have this conversation, bro. Tyree Evans? Yeah, bro. We gonna have a conversation, bro. enlighten me. Maybe you can enlighten me to some things. You know, Jess, what was the last thing Jess said? How do you repair your mental duality matters, but not what you saying? I mean, so you said, bro, all right, I'm not going to do this, but you said duality. Duality is the same thing that I'm talking about. So once again, let's talk about this afterwards, bro. I'm going to follow you and we're going to have this conversation. How do you repair your mental well-being after suffering from mental, emotional, and physical abuse? I feel like I answered a lot of questions. Britt, you might have to take that one.
All right, so it says, how do you repair your mental well-being after suffering from mental, emotional, and physical abuse? So I don't like to speak from anything that I have not experienced. However, right. I can coincide with mental and emotional abuse. And while you're in that state, it is very hard to get out of it because this is what you are taught to believe. This is what they've manipulated within you. This is what you've been hearing for so long. So then now you begin to believe everything that's being said about you. So for me, it was a lot of mental abuse, saying, oh, you're not going to be anything. Your life is over. It will never amount to anything. What else? You're ugly, you're too skinny, you're this, you're that, your nose is long, you don't even know if you're white or black. Like, it's just like, woo, the list goes on. So with that, you start to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, dang, maybe they right. But what you have to do is, what we talked about is you have to shift that mindset. You have to shift your mindset and literally start looking at yourself and understanding your worth. Once you look in the mirror and have that face-to-face conversation and understand that, hey, I am beautiful. Speak over yourself. Speak positivity over your life. Like, speak life into you.
Right.
So me personally, I had to get Post-it notes and put them on my wall. They're on my door now. So before I walk out of my door, I have to read everything that's on the door. I am a queen. I am a wife. I am healthy. I am beautiful. I am it. Like, the list goes on. I attract money. I am wealthy. Like, all those things. And learning to sit there and take care of yourself. Like, love on you. Take yourself out. Read. Get into your God. Do things that make you happy. That's the biggest thing. Everyone's like, preach about self-love and things like that, but are you happy? So it's all about reassuring and coming out of it to make yourself happy again. It's not going to happen overnight. It's really, really not. However, at the same time, you have to understand that it is possible to get through. So I haven't experienced physical, like, if I was with my brother, but like real hardcore physical, no. But as far as mental and emotional abuse, yes. And there is one more question.
What's that?
Oh, okay. We did this. So I kind of answered that. Like, basically how you will repair it is, if you need to speak with someone and get professional help, do so. Make sure you take the measures of I like that. Validate your dance, then flex on the haters. Absolutely.
That's real. That's
a real thing. So all these nice words I'm saying, that's basically what I'm saying. Check on it, get
We're
yourself
trying to be
together,
professional.
build yourself up and say what's up. But don't even show up just for them. You gotta show up for you.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're living for you.
That's real. That's real. Yeah. And also too, once you validate yourself, once you're firm and you're grounded within yourself, you can't be shaken. You know.
Excuse me. I don't know what's going on, but I know for me, confidence was a thing that I like tattooed with for a really long time. I didn't want to speak in front of people. I just didn't want to do any of the things that I'm doing now. And you know, love you.
Yeah. Will you finish? No, I was asking because facts, bro. But he's also speaking facts too. Yeah, you definitely have to be firm within yourself. And being firm within yourself will allow you to stay mentally strong too, because then you'll know like what won't break you, if that makes sense. Once you're firm, you say hating is a sickness. I ain't arguing with the ill. Bro,
Yes,
going
you
hard.
hate mental tissue. Like, I'm just confused. You sick, like,
Yeah,
but like,
guys is going hard, yeah, for
I
real.
love it. But just like basically, you gotta stand tall on your 10 toes and know what you're working with. Like,
Right.
that's it. That's it, and that's all. And once you create that confidence within yourself, you
Mm,
create that mental toughness to face anybody and anything. Mental toughness is what you'll need in this world for sure, because
fast.
there's too
So,
many people that be walking around like, oh yeah, this, that, and the third. But as soon as somebody say one small little thing,
yeah,
it throw them through the roof. So
right.
make sure you are building that confidence though from within. So therefore, when you shine, your light can never can be done, never can be
Mm,
dim,
mm, mm.
never
That's
can be
real.
dim. Know that.
Yeah,
That
any
was the
last?
last question though. So
That was the
this
last
was a
question.
really great conversation. I loved it. Thank you, Brandon, for being on here with me tonight. Thank you for everyone who has commented, sent questions, stayed with us throughout this entire hour. This will not be the last to see that you will see of Brandon with me. Brandon, do you have any last words that you would like to say to the people then? Brandon?
Yeah, no doubt, definitely. I don't know what anybody who is listening is going through, but regardless of what you're going through, you definitely can, persevere through it. Anything that you are going through, you can definitely get through it. Anything that has hurt you, if you genuinely are ready and prepared to heal from it, it's a process, but you can definitely heal from it, and become a better version of yourself. You know what I mean? So, um, yeah, surround yourself with the right people. Um, Stay away from the things that you can tell are messing with your mental health. You know what I mean? And just stay around people and things that boost you up, as opposed to put you down. And that's all I can really say. Yeah, stay prayed up. Stay prayed up. You know,
Absolutely.
Meditate, whatever you do, whether you pray, meditate, whatever you do that can put you in the right frame of mind. And also to chase your passions. I think that's the last thing I'm gonna say. Whatever you're passionate about, those are the things that you need to do more often, because that'll also give you a greater sense of freedom as well. Yeah, yeah. That's it.
I
That's
love
all I
that.
gotta say.
Give us your Instagram handles. Where can the people follow you?
Yeah, you can follow me at Brandon_Bally. That's BRANDON underscore Bally, BALLY. Brandon_Bally.
Yes.
My IG.
Okay. Right. I noticed that my timer ain't come up yet. So I hope I'm really about to put you on the spot real quick. Can I get a short spoken word? Just a little bit?
No, we only got 2 minutes.
No, I can't.
No.
Oh,
I got a lot of IG. I got a lot of spoken word on my IG page though. So if you are
okay.
interested in that, definitely go to my Instagram page, and I have all that there. I have all that content. Got all the motivational content. Yeah, for real. Tap in on my IG page though. For real. I definitely have a lot, and a lot more coming
Absolutely.
too. So.
I love it. Thank you again, Brandon. Good night, everyone.